Now I'd like to introduce the next speaker of this session, Deepa Vedavyas, Sustainability Manager, Mayor's Office of Sustainability, Cleveland, USA. Deepa currently manages Cleveland's Lead for Cities certification and the 100% Clean Energy Equity Implementation Plan. He is passionate about sustainable community development. Let us now proceed to Deepa's presentation.
Hello everyone, it gives me immense pleasure to be a part of IconBest 2021. I would like to express my thanks to the organizers and the institution for this conference and the invite. This conference is a great way to keep up with trends across the globe in the field of architecture and planning. And I believe this would be highly beneficial to faculties, research scholars, professionals, and students. The topic that I will be focusing on today is the city's role in building community well-being. Thank you all for being here with me today. I am currently serving as the Sustainability Manager for the Mayor's Office of Sustainability in Cleveland. So my focus area today is going to be the journey of City of Cleveland's intentional effort to boost its self-image through the lens of equity and sustainability. Who we are an office of 10 staff members who directly report to the mayor's office, and we have expertise in various fields ranging from architecture and planning, water quality management, energy management, engineers. We have naturalists, botanists in our office, we have communication experts, and so on. So to give a little bit of a background on City of Cleveland, I would like to direct you to the map here to the very top northeast corner where very close to the 5 Great Lakes, and City of Cleveland abuts Lake Erie and within the state of Ohio. Our neighboring states are Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, and Michigan. So we do have almost 6 months of winter, so to speak, and it's got extreme weather conditions. At the same time, this is also to give a little background on the history itself. The city once had a population of close to 1 million in 1950, and it was then predominantly an industrial manufacturing-based city. And slowly, once the manufacturing base shifted, the city started losing its population. Unlike many parts of the world where you experience urban growth, City of Cleveland faces a significant urban decline, adding more and more vacant lands each year. So what do I mean by adding vacant lands? So when the city is built for 1 million, and which is currently now in 1/3 of its population of 385,000 plus people, so that is a significant decline. So but the infrastructure still is for much larger population, and the city is unable to upkeep the properties, both commercial and residential. Due to that, there is a significant effort that has started happening in 2009 and beyond after the housing bubble burst to eliminate the dilapidated properties. So slowly, as we eliminate those vacant, dilapidated properties, we started adding more and more vacant lands into the city. So that is what I was, alluding to when I initially when I said the tagline that the city is working towards boosting its self-image, because the City of Cleveland residents, they definitely are looking for positive, hopeful measures that the city would put forward in the coming years as the city continues to decline in its population. So we have a mayor who is a very forward-thinking mayor, and his idea and the focus is primarily been on private-public philanthropic partnerships, and his mindset drove a significant effort in sustainability, in equity within the city. there's a new mindset where sustainability ties in innovation and economic opportunity that was put forth when he was elected in mid 2000s, and towards that is soon after that he formed the Office of Sustainability, and following that he came up with a decade long initiative on Sustainable Cleveland 2019, which I'm going to speak upon shortly. And there are 2 years in Cleveland's history that's very important. One is 1969 and 2019. So why do I pick on those 2 years as important years? So when you look at the images below, it shows a river that is burning. So how can a river burn? So there was some serious issues during those days where the pollutants were directly discarded into the river, and because of the heavy manufacturing base, there was significant amount of pollutants that was released into the river, and that literally killed all the life in the water. And the river was started to burn for the 13th time in 1969. That called for national attention, and that led to both local actions and also national level policy changes that came about. So what am I talking about? In 1969, once the burning of Cuyahoga River happened in Cleveland, it led to the creation of what is now popularly known as the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA. Following that, Clean Air Act was enacted nationally, and the Clean Water Act was enacted nationally. So the inside joke within the city of Cleveland is, "You're welcome, America." If not for Cleveland, it might not have happened that early. So again, that being said, we also battle a lot of challenges because of all these efforts. So when I mentioned about the decade-long initiative, what was I alluding to is that the mayor had a strong vision. Why is 2019 more important? 2019 marks the 50th anniversary since the burning of the river in 1969. So the mayor wanted to share a positive story when the entire country's attention will once again be in Cleveland. He wanted to share a positive story. Because of that, he wanted to consciously and systematically make sustainability as one of our fundamental element in our planning and development efforts. So it was in 2009 started putting the Sustainable Cleveland 2019 framework, where every year from 2010 onwards, there was a Sustainable Cleveland Summit that was convened every year. And between the years 2010 to 2011, when what you see is 2011 focuses on energy efficiency. So all the programmatic efforts and funding were primarily focused and targeted towards energy efficiency measures. What do I mean by it? Commercial ASHRAE level 2 audits were provided for local businesses, for many local businesses through State Department grants, Department of Energy grants, and residences were provided much more than just the weatherization program where they can provide greater insulation. They were also offered other energy efficiency measures and programmatic efforts that would create awareness and go beyond that. So in 2011, when it comes to the year of celebration, the year-long efforts and the positive stories were provided a platform to share to the rest of the country. So typically the Sustainable Summit has anywhere attendees ranging from 500 to 800 plus every year. So through this, 10-year-long initiative, when it moves to the next year, while it adds and focuses on the local food, it does not lose the momentum of energy efficiency, but it kind of layers on with the next additional effort that the city puts forth. So similarly, there were multiple layering on various topics of clean water, sustainable mobility, neighborhoods, vibrant spaces, and so on. So by 2019, we were able to, celebrate the culmination year. And now the 2019 is gone. So what is beyond 2019? We in the Office of Sustainability do not want to lose the momentum. We would like to continue to ingrain the principles and use a unified goal efforts where it brought the entire city together. It was a very beautiful decade-long initiative where the city had a common vision and the community came together and they had their own working group that they were working on various programmatic efforts. We do not want to lose the vision. So momentum and the vision towards these efforts and making the city a green city on a blue lake. So today I'm going to highlight two main projects, although there are several projects in the field of in education sector. We have Say Yes to Cleveland, and we also have other efforts such as Neighborhood Transformative Initiative, and policy level we have form-based zoning, which is currently being reviewed. There are many efforts, but today I'm going to focus and highlight on two very important efforts that the city is currently working on through the Office of Sustainability. In 2018, Mayor Frank Jackson committed to the goal of 100% clean and renewable electricity by 2050. So it was then Cleveland became the first city in Ohio to commit to that goal. Today, within US, there are over 160 cities and towns that is committed to 100% renewable energy targets. And each city and their target timelines they vary. Like, for example, some cities have robust targets of 2030, 2040, 2050, 2035. So within city of Cleveland, the mayor has committed to 2050. So how are we going forward with it? Like, that sounds like a long time. How do you plan for something that is going to happen like 30 years down the road? So that is when we had brought in the consultants to help us with first assessing our existing condition. What are we doing now? Where is our existing condition going to take us? So we looked at our utility companies, like what are their current policies, and where do we have to be in the coming years, both in terms of our programmatic efforts, our policy efforts, and how are we currently providing the services and so on. For that, we needed a tool that could also allow us to do it equitably. So we created an equity mapping tool that would look at the following indicators, which is demographic, water burden, utility burden. What do you mean by a burden? So that again is a point that I would like to highlight. Burden is something, especially when it comes to energy, when there is a household, if the household spends 6% of their income or above on their utility bills, that is considered as a high energy burden. When a household spends 10% of their annual income or above, that is considered as a severe energy burden. And that is what we were trying to analyze, like how is our population distributed? Are they able to pay? What percentage of their income is going towards paying their bills and so on? So does people have health insurance? If they do not, what are the type of health challenges do they have, like asthma, and other challenges? And housing, are they being evicted? Evicted is so eviction is very common because people are not able to afford their homes due to income shocks within that exist across the country, and especially highest in Cleveland. So when you have eviction rates higher, like are people being able to pay their household rent or their housing cost and so on? Does people have access to internet? And does people, what is their income variability and so on? So it was very important for us to look at the equity data, because access to that data is something that we really need in order for us to address the challenges within the city, and also incorporate social equity into our climate policy programs. So this is again a platform. This is the platform, as I mentioned, like that looks at the energy burden, and this methodology on the Green Link energy mapping methodology enables the neighborhood averages and also number of households in the burden. So again, it's GEM, it's Green Link Energy Equity Map. Basically, that again is a Green Links Analytics is the company that is actually currently helping us on putting this together. So this particular map is a very powerful one because what you see in the right is one of the oldest maps. Historically, cities when they were planned, they had redlining where they were systematically segregating the black and brown population within the country, and the financing, the funding, the home loan funding, and all those. This is a HOLC map that I'm showing on the right side. The one that is in the darker color are concentrations of people who are low income black and brown population who were concentrated systematically in one part of the city, while the wealthier people get to spread out in a affluent suburb, both inner city and outer city suburb. And what you see to the left is again that is the current map right now, but it is overlapped with two indicators. One is a utility burden indicator, layered on top is a demographic racial indicator. So you still see a significant number of people who are suffering with income poverty, energy poverty, are people in the black and brown communities. And that is unfortunately so similar to the map that has existed decades ago. And Cleveland, to be honest, is one of the top 10 most segregated cities in the country with the highest level of energy burden. And also, we have about 170 census tracts, and of which 130 census tracts seem to have energy burden in the top third, exceeding the severe category, which is over 10% of their annual income. So, how are we using that data? Right, so we also have a commitment. Mayor has committed to $10 million for tree planting because there is a significant urban heat island effect that is happening within the city of Cleveland because of a lot of impervious surfaces and loss of tree canopies. So layering this map with the existing tree plant map, trying to systematically concentrate our tree planting efforts, intentionally doing our planting as well as our maintenance as part of the water equity and climate justice efforts. So trying to layer all our existing efforts one on top of the other by using this equity tool is something that would be very powerful in the coming years, because we do have a $1 million a year commitment for the next 10 years by the mayor to increase the tree canopy to reduce the urban heat island effect. And the second example that I'm going to share today is in 2020, City of Cleveland received a grant for going through Lead for Cities certification process. And what is Lead for Cities? Lead for Cities is a certification international tool that would allow us, it's a rating system, it's a global rating system and certification that would allow us to evaluate our sustainability measures and progress, and along with the quality of life aspects within the city. And unlike other LEED certifications that has been there earlier, which is targeting the individual building level, LEED for Cities has a significant focus on a new category called quality of life that looks at various indicators on equity. So that is what makes this a unique rating system. And many city governments are pursuing this tool to assess their as-is conditions and where they are in terms of their sustainability journey, and use that tool to inform them as to how they could better their efforts in sustainability. This map here that you see is basically in 2020, as I had earlier mentioned, that cities were called for to apply for a technical grant. US Green Building Council partnered with Bank of America, and they have started providing us technical assistance and guidance to go through the certification process. And last year, City of Cleveland was selected as one of the 20 cities across the country to go through this process. And you see cities of all sizes and scales, like city of Sarasota, Florida. Again, you see larger cities like Charlotte, North Carolina, Newark, New Jersey. What you see here is city of Cleveland. Again, within the state of Ohio, we are the only city that got selected in 2020. In 2019, there were 2 other cities selected. But again, this is a fairly new rating system. And at present, there are probably around 40 cities that are pursuing this rating system, maybe slightly more. And we are yet to get our certification, but hoping to apply completed documentation submissions by next month, and hope to hear our certification status by May. And the newest version, it was in a pilot phase from 2016 till 2019. And in 2019, the version 4.1 for the cities and communities was launched. In many developing countries, you would see Lead for Cities new rating system being pursued. When there is an entire city being planned new, they go and pursue the new rating system. But since City of Cleveland is an older and existing city, we are pursuing the Lead for Cities existing category. Again, it has taken a lot of evaluation, evolution and alignment of the current one. In 2007, the earlier very primary rating system that was in existence for cities in US was the Star Communities rating system. but that has been evolved much significantly through USGBC's Lead for Cities in 2016, as I mentioned. Again, it has considered Lead ND, which was for the community level, Lead for neighborhood level development. So many of the best strategies and practices have been incorporated, complementary strategies have been incorporated from all these rating systems mentioned here. Again, it's a data-driven and a performance-based approach. It has got multiple categories that I will touch upon shortly. And Lead for Cities also aligns significantly with the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. So this is an image that I like. This is a nested SDGs. What it shows is it gives a very clear picture that out of the 17 UN goals, 8 of them focuses on equity and the societal aspects. And this is very similar in a way where Lead for Cities is aligned. The highest category is in the energy category, scoring potential of 30. And the next highest category is quality of life with a scoring potential of 20. So there is a significant effort that has actually put by USGBC in focusing on equity. So any cities that go through the certification and works towards improving their quality of life automatically will do better in their SDG ranking globally. So what you see on the left in this image is a comparison. So in the city of Cleveland, we are not starting from scratch. We have published our first climate action plan in 2013, but our updated climate action plan, the most recent one, was in 2018. So all the priority area that was listed in our climate action plan is, on the left. And Lead for Cities categories, the 9 categories within the Lead for Cities is to the right. So as you see, there's an integrative process which focuses on green building policies and incentives. Natural systems and ecology focus on unbuilt environment, access to green spaces, how equitable is the access. And transportation and land use again focuses on the built environment, quality transit, smart mobility, alternative fuel, EV and other aspects comes into picture. And how are we doing? Are we paying emphasis on TOD development, transit-oriented development, and so on? And water efficiency again focuses on access and quality. Energy and greenhouse emission also focuses on the per capita emissions and so on. Again, materials and resources, quality of life, and innovation and regional priority are other sections. Very similar to the LEED rating system. Any LEED rating system, it is scored for 100 points, and of which there is additional potential area of scoring in innovation and regional priority. So again, within the quality of life, as I had mentioned, they're looking at trend improvement, distributional equity, environmental justice, and civil and human rights, and so on. There are 2 different options and categories that is there. There are 2 aspects within the certification process. One is a prerequisite and the other is the credits. So within the prerequisites, there are again base conditions and performance score. Within base conditions, we can talk a little bit more. Base condition again focuses on access and quality. So there are 5 categories there are 5 categories within base condition. One is natural system, so that requires you to look at the ecosystem assessment within the city and the water access and quality and power access, solid management techniques, demographic assessment, and so on. And again, performance score is again a benchmark indicator. Every time there is actually, when you are submitting a narrative for a credit or a prerequisite, the prerequisite also ties into an art platform. If you have worked in a LEED category, you would definitely know, you would have definitely heard about the USGBC's art platform, and that kind of goes simultaneously. So the credits again are optional. It has both outcomes and strategies. So outcomes typically has a quantitative measure, and strategies has a qualitative measures, and best practices are identified there. So as I had mentioned, performance looks at all the different indicators, like for all the numbers, numericals have to be entered there, like primarily transportation looks at VMT data, GHG looks at the per capita emissions, and education looks at our high school trend, like how many people have graduated, what has been the trend, or how many people have a secured bachelor's degree, and so on. And also there are health indicators and prosperity indicators and equitability indicators along with that. Again, moving on to credits. Credits are optional, as in any LEED certification. So just highlighting, a couple of quick examples for the credits in housing and transportation affordability, for instance. The requirement here, the one outcome credit, I can highlight that within the credit is evaluating the existing area condition to identify whether a family with an income of with a lower area median income can afford a combined housing and transportation cost of 45% of their total income or less. So basically what I'm trying to say here is they look at the affordability aspect within the housing and transportation section. And the other indicators, this is an outcome indicator and this is a strategy indicators. The other aspects that is mentioned here are strategy indicators. So there is a combination within credits. There is typically a combination of outcome and strategy indicators. When it comes to natural systems, for instance, resilience planning, here it is only a strategy indicator and there is no outcome indicator at all. Both of the points, credits that they are mentioning here is only targeting on the strategies. Do we have resilience plan in place for the city? The vulnerability and capacity assessment, do we identifying the local environmental context and looking at the vulnerability and then mentioning about strategies. So again, that kind of gives a quick, a very high level and a very quick overview of the LEED for cities, which is an extensive data gathering exercise and extensive analysis of our sustainability journey as a city. So this would give anybody a teaser on what a LEED for City certification is like. So once again, we are hoping that once we submit our certification next month and when we hear back from US Green Building Council, we would use that as an as-is analysis, gap analysis tool, and we hope to use the recommendation and identify the gaps within our current efforts and improve our programmatic and policy level efforts in aligning our sustainability recommendations with our current efforts and hoping to improve to get to the next level. We believe we may certify in the level of certified level or the silver level, with an ambition to get to LEED for Cities Platinum by 2030. That would be our long-term vision for this project. And again, as in any sustainability journey, the burden typically kind of end up falling on a few people. But again, as we all work together towards building sustainable built and creating sustainable built environment, can we consciously think that if we can put back more than we take out for people and planet, if there is a conscious effort on each and every individual trying to be a net positive individual, trying to give back more to our earth than we take up, I think our world will definitely be a better place, and that would be our ultimate goal. And every day we wake up hoping that our work makes an impact in a positive way. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Architect Deepa, for your presentation. And now we shall take a short break for our sponsor video.
While renovating my house, I realized that furniture fittings are more important than furniture aesthetics. That's why I trust EPCO for all furniture hardware. EPCO, simplifying lives.
changing lives.